Welcome back, everyone. So next up, we have a presentation session. The topic is the future of customer experience. Will be taken by Mr. Sachin Agarwal, Chief Technology Officer from Kaara Infosystem Private Limited. Mr. Sachin is an IT leader with 16 years of experience driving innovation in ever-evolving IT landscape with a keen focus on AI. Extensively experience in leading technology initiative over a decade working with Microsoft. Currently driving growth at Kaara Infosystem as CTO, leveraging expertise to navigate the cutting edge of technology and deliver impactful solution. Let's welcome Mr. Sachin Agarwal.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know session after lunch are always fun. So what we are going to talk about in next half an hour, a lot of that has been covered in bits and pieces by various speakers as part of Q&A. But what we will try to do is build a complete picture around how technology can enable different use cases when it comes to NBFCs or financial institutions, especially empowering by AI, advanced data and analytics. So last year, there was a study which was conducted by Accenture, and it was mainly around the Indian banking system. And one of the questions they asked to their respondents was, what percentage of people who acquired a financial product from a provider other than their main bank? So essentially the question was, if you have acquired a new service, a financial product which was not from your main bank, what do you think? What was the percentage who answered in affirmative? Any guesses? 60 to 70. Anybody else? 50. Anybody at the back? Any guesses? So answer is 88%. And if you think about it, in today's time, when we are talking about all the banking being digital, you are actually all the time in the pocket of your customer as a mobile app. You have pretty much all the services that you offer, which they can anytime go explore. Not only that, they can even go and request for that right from there. Still 88% of the respondents said that we have not gone with our main bank when we had to pick for a financial product or services. Now, there could be various reasons at it. It could be your bank is not providing the service you are looking for. But then at the same time, one of the primary reasons could also be the customer satisfaction that they are looking for is not provided them by the bank. So we are going to talk about what the customer satisfaction of future is going to look like. More than that, what is going to enable that? So if I ask you another question, we all talk about UPI success, right? That it has been a grand success, especially during COVID. If there wouldn't have been internet available in the rural India and data wouldn't have been that cheap, do you still think that UPI would have made the same impact? Of course not, right? So there are always enablers that you need for any technology to be successful. So what we are going to talk about, what are those enablers, what are those prerequisites that we need so that we can actually harness the power of Gen AI, advanced data and analytics, and all other technological options that are available to us today. So the future of customer experience, and most of these points have already been touched about various different speakers. I'll quickly run through them. Intent over journey. So one of the example I believe Anamika gave, wherein she was talking about if as a customer I am calling to customer care for certain issues, and then customer care, rather than being empowered to quickly act upon it, giving me the procedural related things. So if I am in a foreign country wherein there is a fraud which is being done on my card and I want it to be resolved, and I call the customer care and they say, you know what, this is typically going to take 4 days or 5 days. Now, as a customer, I'm stuck out there. I don't have any other viable option. So in that case, I want my intent to be recognized by my financial provider. Similarly, personal conversations over basic personalization. So today what we are talking about is in your mobile app, you would be getting certain loan offers, credit card offers. Those are very basic personal, based on your certain basic profiles. Bank is identifying, or your financial institution is identifying that this customer might fall in this segment, so I can offer them these services. Now we have to go beyond that. and then the holistic proposition over siloed offerings. So all of this is going to be how the future of customer experience is going to be. And how many of you are here GOT fans, Game of Thrones? People who have watched it? Oh, you guys are very busy. Okay, so so in that there is a line wherein Tyrion, he says that the most powerful thing is the stories. And at the end of the day, the way I see customer experiences, if you are able to provide an experience to a customer which is good enough for him to translate that into a story and narrate it to his friends and family. Like again, like Anamika was talking about her experience with SBI. So that was an experience that translated into a story, and she is willing to go and talk about it, right? So we have to have those kind of experiences given to our customer, and it's not like it's not happening. Even today, it is happening in all the spaces. You will see certain stories about some Uber driver, somebody who is a Zomato delivery person, or even from the banking sector. But these are happening in silos. How can technology enable each one of us to make those stories as a norm? So when we talk about that how part, how will that happen? This is where the core of all of this is. Whether we want to talk about Gen AI or anything else, unless we have a customer 360 created, we will not be able to create an experience which is personalized and meaningful for our customers. Now, what do we really mean by customer 360? So it is about creating a comprehensive view of each of your customer by aggregating data from different sources. It could be about integrating data from social media, transactions, their conversations that are happening with the support, even the demographic. So all of this data collated, curated, and then harmonized, and that's when you get a customer 360. I'll give you an example. This is again from a leading bank, and I have my account with them. I got a credit card, and around a year back, I lost it. So I used the mobile app for the request for reissuing of the card, and nothing really happened. Then I made a couple of customer care calls. Again, nothing happened, so I left it there. Surprisingly, in last 7 to 8 months, I got calls from at least 5 to 6 different RMs. I don't know why you guys keep changing relationship managers so quick, but I got calls from 5 to 6 different relationship managers, and each one of them will call and say, you know what, Mr. Agarwal, I'm your relationship manager. If you need anything, please do call me. I'll be able to help you with all the services we have, any issues that you will face. And I'll wonder, I requested for the reissuance of my card from the mobile app. I made call to the customer care couple of times, which means all of that data is recorded somewhere into their system. Bank is spending money on this human resource for him to enhance my customer experience, but it is not enabling that individual with enough data points to talk to me. What if the same individual would have called me and said, you know what, Mr. Agarwal, I'm your relationship manager, and I see you raised a request 2 months back. It's not yet fulfilled. These are the things that we need to do to bring it to a closure. So data is there, individual is there, but that individual is not equipped with that data to cater to the customer needs. And that is one of the very basic of customer experience. We are not even talking about anything fancy here. It's very basic scenario, right? So when and if I ask you, how many of you feel that in your current financial institution, you truly have a customer 360-degree view, which means for every single customer from various different departments, whatever their profile is, you have a singular view across the board. So this is, and you know what, because we are dealing with financial institutions, right? So there are regulations, of course, and there has to be a fact in it. There is a concept which is called shared data, or data as a shared asset, and it's not a new concept. It is something that has been matured over last decade or so. Now, what does data as a shared asset means is, you have different functions in your organization, and every customer has different touch points. during those touch points, that customer is sharing data, is having call with your customer care, sales call, various different data input which is happening. Now, when we say data as a shared asset, it is essentially creating this comprehensive view which is having a singular version across all these functions. So it is not only factual, but there is only one version of it. So for example, if I go and I say I want to have an address change. Now I got my address changed, it got updated immediately with my banking system, but the marketing team is getting the updated address after 15 days. That should not happen. When as a customer, I move from function 1 to function 2 to function 3, I should feel that I am recognized. So there has to be that one single version which is truth and shared across the board. So that is a concept of data as a shared asset. And whenever we want to enhance a customer experience, this is something which is very, very critical. Now, what we have done in last year or so, because like I said, data as a shared asset is a concept that already evolved over last decade. And then it was taken a notch higher, wherein now we are talking about data as a product. And here if you see, you should be able to relate to it. It is a conceptual slide wherein on the left-hand side, you have data coming in from multiple different sources. Like I said, it could be social media, it could be coming in from the system you are using for your customer care, it could be a sales team, marketing team. So all of that data is landing, and when it is landing, it is a raw data product. So from everywhere it is coming in, it is its own silo. Then that data is converted, it's curated, it's harmonized, deduplication is done, and eventually, if you look at the curated data product, so now that data is converted into the product. And if I give you an example, one of such product is Customer 360. Another product could be Portfolio 360. Third product could be Employee 360. So based on all the different data that I'm getting, I have worked on it, and finally, I ended up creating these multiple data products. Now, each of this data product can now be consumed either by your AI layer or by your analytics layer. But once you reach to this stage, that is when you can say, even in the digital world, I know my customer. So with the digital space, right? And this point was discussed, I think, during the panel discussion, that the customer interactions, although like NBFCs, all the financial institutions, they have done great job in moving towards digital. But the more they have moved towards digital, the personalization has gone out of the picture. It has become a lot more static. Like even the chatbots that we have today, right? Whether it is HDFC Bank or any other bank, what do the chatbots do? You go, you say, they'll ask, may I help you? You say yes. They will give you 5 options. You click on one option, then again you get further options, right? So it's a drill down. It's a pre-structured conversation, which whether I go through it, you go through it, it is going to pretty much yield the same result. So there is no personalization there, which was there when we were totally in the offline banking. Your branch manager will know you. You will have those kind of personal conversations, which has gone missing. Now this Customer 360 allows my institute or my bank to create my entire profile. And I think the first speaker spoke about 4 parameters. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Pile. So Pyle spoke about in, I think, second or third of her slide, wherein there were 4 different pillars, which is how, like it was the customers, financial status, personal status. Likewise, there were 2 more, right? So you have those different attributes for each customer, which will help you build that holistic view of that. And once you have it, that is when your conversations will start being more meaningful. Now, here, let me address one more point. So we also spoke how all of this will be helpful. At the end of the day, great, I created the Customer 360. It is still some form of data which is sitting, which is comprehensive, but how is it usable by me as an employee or by my customer? That's where we move on to the next item, which is analytics and real-time decision making. So all the, like they say, native digital users or people who don't go to bank very frequently, right? If you happen to go to a bank, how many times somebody there calls you by name? Like you have just opened your account online and you are having all those services online. One fine day you have to go there for some issue, address change. Once you go in there, anybody greets you just by meeting you by name? It won't happen because they are not, they don't really know, right? You're not interacting with them in person. But with all of this technology, it can enable these kind of use cases. So it's very simple. There are cameras installed. The moment I walk in as a customer, how difficult it is to just do the video analytics, recognize my face, and then have my summary or my portfolio summary being shared with whatever relationship employees are there. Another use case is about enabling the, enabling the people who are interacting me when I'm in the offline scenario. So let's say in a branch, and this is again a true story. So a friend of mine works in HDFC, so Abhishek. So he's pretty good, and I got to know him as he was managing the branch. Extremely good, very successful in terms of meeting all the numbers, and with pretty much all the customers, shares a great relationship. So with all the great performance, he got promoted, and somebody else came to fill in his shoes. Now this new person, he was not that good when it comes to dealing with the customer, when it comes to building those relationships. Now that individual could be very hardworking. Again, we all have our different traits, right? Not everybody is equal in all the qualities. So this new person is not that social. He doesn't really know how he can break ice with somebody. The technology now can enable him. How? Because I have the entire customer profile, this particular new manager, whenever a customer that he wants to talk to, not only tells him about that new customer, but it also goes and start telling him, you know what, these are the 5 prompts which could be your icebreaker. You can start talking about soccer, you can start talking about golf. Whatever, based on all the comprehensive data that I have from social media or from previous interactions, it can now generate those conversations that he should take up with that person. So it enables it. What technology is doing here, it is trying to bridge the gap wherein somebody else who is not so good with a particular trait, but technology can come in and fill up that gap and try to make that performer who could be average otherwise again to a star performer. And like they say, as technology advances and you have your star performer move to more high value chain, right? So that way you can have all these kind of jobs which are done by these people with the help of technology, and people who are really great with customers and all can be moved high up in the chain. So this is how your customer 360-degree view enables even in the offline banking. When we talk about online banking, I'm sure all of you would be full of examples. One I can think of is the promotions that comes, and again, this is again a true story. So a friend, I think, yeah, most of the people are talking about HDFC, and this one is also related to HDFC only. So he was prompted with this 10 lakh pre-approved loan and personal loan, and he was in the need, so he applied for it, and it got rejected. So on the mobile app, there was a prompt that you have a pre-approved 10 lakh rupee loan, and when he applied, it got rejected, and the reason was that he already have other loans. So he has liabilities, that's why it got rejected, which is fine. But here, all the other loans that he had, the EMI for that was going from his HDFC bank account only. Now, how difficult it is in today's time and age for having a basic analytics wherein before I am going and trying to show you an offer, I am doing that due diligence with the help of technology. All of this can be very easily done if you are going and creating a comprehensive view for each of your customer. So the next part is the analytics and real-time decision making. And again, this is, so lately when I was working with NBFCs and couple of banks, so I won't name it, but one of them, they mentioned that for every month target, they get a dump of customers, which is at least 15 days old. Like, and this is a very standard graph. It tells you On the y-axis, you have value of decision making. On the x-axis, you have the age of the data. Now, if you see the impact of your data can have on your decision making, it is extremely high when it is real time. The moment the age of the data goes not even in hours, not even in days, the moment it goes into minutes, the slope is very steep. So the value of the data, that the role of the data or impact of the data that it will have in your decision making goes down drastically. And that's where it is very, very important for us to have the data coming in from different sources to be integrated in the real time, and then that data should be transformed into information based on which various employees can start making decisions which will definitely enhance the value of the decision that they are taking. So next part is the AI part, and since morning we are talking a lot about it. Now, what essentially is AI? If you say, see, at the end of the day, AI is nothing but it's a computer program which is trained to do tasks which are complex, to make decisions by simulating a human brain. And how it achieves that? It achieves that by training. So if I ask you, there is, let's say, Ria and Priya, there are two personas. Now, Ria is somebody who is really, I hope there is nobody named Ria in the group. Okay. So Ria is somebody who is a bit lazy and who doesn't remember her customers, who doesn't remember all the portfolio offerings. And then Priya is somebody who is really good when it comes to remembering every customer, their age, whether they are married or not, if they have kids, where they belong to. All of that information Priya remembers. At the same time, she is very well equipped with all the information about portfolio and the services that the financial institution is offering. So if there is somebody, let's say, named Uma, who is 55, 60 years old, and when Uma is interacting with Ria, and Uma is saying, Uma is a customer of the same branch, but because Ria doesn't remember much about the customers, so first Ria would be asking the questions like, okay, if Uma is looking for a service, Ria will ask for the personal questions, and then when Uma says that, you know what, I need to invest into something, I have this much of amount with me, then Ria has to go back and try to find out what are the different offerings in my portfolio, what would be the perfect match for it. And that's how Ria will go and serve Uma. On the other hand, visualize the conversation that Priya will have with the Uma. So when it comes to Priya, because Priya remembers most of the things about Uma beforehand, about personal information, about the health of the account, and other needs that Uma has. And at the same time, Priya also knows very well what are the different offerings in the portfolio. So the moment Uma tells her about the need, she is very easily able to cater it, tell her, and have a conversation through it. So if these are the two personas, and like I mentioned a couple of minutes before, AI is nothing, but AI is a simulation of a human brain to take decisions to do complex tasks. Now, if you have to simulate AI, would you like to simulate it on Priya, or would you like to simulate it on Ria? Of course, the answer would be Priya. Now, what Priya had which Ria didn't have? Priya had all the information about Uma, Priya had all the information about the portfolios, and that's precisely what we were talking 4 slides back about creating a customer 360, portfolio 360. So essentially the point here is Gen AI can be as good for you as you are prepared for it. It's not, I think again, Anamika made a point wherein she said, it's not about just ticking a technology, right? So you just bring in Gen AI without the preparation, without the prerequisite, and it will start behaving in a very mediocre way for you. Your customer experiences, which you might want to believe will enhance, but if you do not have enough data available for Gen AI engine to work on, it will not be as effective as you want it to be. So there is always this prerequisite part of it in the journey of AI that everybody must be aware of. And I have seen around 2016, 17, 2 to 3, very large Fortune 500 company projects we did, which were related to AI, outstanding use cases. They were like, one of them was related to marketing, wherein, with the help of AI, they wanted to increase the market share by 0.00 some percentage. I don't recall the exact one. And they did all the ROI calculation and everything. Model was created, it got delivered, it was doing what it was supposed to do, but back then, the AI was not as democratized as it is today. So the cost of operation was really high. If you have to run that model, at that time, the cost that you would pay for it was really high, and eventually, that never saw the day of the light. So, light of the day. So, point here is, AI at its face value, it's good technology, but then you must be very well aware of that what are the things that you should check before you embark on that path. If you have all those prerequisites done, then it's going to be a game changer. There is no doubt about it. And here we'll see an example. There was also a question regarding this, which was, we were talking about Gen AI in the context of how it will help financial institutions, the employees, but the question was, how will it help a rickshawala, right? Now, this is how it's going to help a rickshawala, or maybe the people who are sitting in the rural India who are not that tech savvy, who don't know how to use the mobile app of the bank, who don't know how to use a chatbot, but they can still, with the help of Gen AI, go ahead and explore a lot of the products that you are selling them. So what you can do with Gen AI, you can create conversational bots. You can create financial advisors, which can talk in the regional languages, wherein people can chat in their regional languages. And it need not to be very fancy. So there is a very famous thing, right? Whenever you're trying to bring out a product, there has to be a behavior for it. If there is no behavior for it, then you have to invest a lot first to build that behavior so that your product can be accepted. In this case, it is natural language in which people are talking to it. So it's a very simple app, or it could be part of your app, wherein I can just have conversations, either speech conversations, or I can have the text conversations in the language I'm comfortable with. So in this case, this is an example wherein it is in Hindi, and like the same persona, Uma, who want to know that I need some help, I have some money, and I want to know where should I invest. She has absolutely no clue that what are the offerings, what can I do with the money. Only thing she has is the money, and she wants to invest. And now, what Gen AI is going to do in this case, because Gen AI knows what is the persona of the Uma, Gen AI knows what are the entire portfolio offerings that it has. Based on all of that, it is going to strike the conversation. If it needs to gather, it will ask if you want to talk more about your financial condition, how much is your expenditure and all. And based on that, it will start building that personalized experience, and eventually will come up with what all options are there. And it won't stop at that point. So this part is about informing. The next part is about taking action on it, because just by informing, journey doesn't end here. Journey has to end in after that information, how can I act upon that information? So Gen AI, at the end of it, also lets Uma say that, okay, this is what the option I want to go ahead with, and then the engine from the behind will create, let's say, a ticket or whatever terminology you use, wherein somebody would be assigned so that they can then reach out to Uma in person and have that thing closed. So this way, anybody who is not that tech savvy, who doesn't know much about technology, but knows the regional language, knows how to speak, can easily be able to converse with you, and you can provide them a very personalized, a contextualized experience for exploring all the services that you have. So all of this is a lot more easier said than done. There are a lot of challenges when we talk about building a customer 360, especially if you are from a bank which is, have lived long. There have been many different functions which has grown over the time. Every function has came up with their own system. So there are data sitting in silos. So there are many challenges. Good news is, in today's state and time, technology has reached to a point wherein most of these challenges can be handled very gracefully. When I say gracefully, what I mean is, one, in terms of cost, because it has to be cost effective. I cannot just throw in a lot of compute and all to solve these problems. So in the cost effective fashion. Second, without having any interruption in my ongoing business. So all of those things are now evolved in terms of processes, in terms of technologies. With the advent of the cloud, you have many technologies to support this particular journey, but at the core of it, this is an essential journey if we want to start leveraging the power of Gen AI. So just to conclude, if you really want to harness the Gen AI capabilities, then we have to go deeper into the data side of it and have it cleansed, have a comprehensive view created, and then on top of it, you can build all these amazing capabilities. So thank you. Open for questions. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.